Welcome to Anissa Jones's session. Anissa Jones is the one of the leaders of GEG Canberra and is going to share her experiences with us. I'm just going to sit on the question stream, and if there's anything really important comes up, I can ask questions then, or we'll see how it goes up to the end. So I will pass you over to Anissa.
Wonderful, thank you. So hi everybody. Before I get started, I'd like to just acknowledge that I am presenting on the traditional lands of the Ngunnawal people, and I'd like to pay my respects to the elders past and present, and to any Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people actually watching this event today. Again, my name is Anissa Jones. I'm a teacher as well as the GEG leader for Canberra. I teach at Caroline Chisholm School, which is a P to 10 school. So I'll get started with my presentation. Okay, so my presentation today is on navigating G Suite. So basically I've got an agenda. I'm one of those people that likes to be very organized and so on. On this slide is some information to contact me. Again, particularly if you're in the Canberra area and Queanbeyan, as Queanbeyan is so close to where we are. Again, so I've started with a welcome to country. I'm Darug from the Hawkesbury River region, Buru-Borongal clan. So I've just put a little map there. I grew up in Parramatta. And I moved to Canberra when I was in primary school. I'm a runner with the Queanbeyan Deadly Runners, which is part of the Indigenous Marathon project as well. And have done a 10K, but sadly I'm unable to at the moment due to my Achilles to do any more. This is my school, Caroline Chisholm School. It is a P to 10 school, but we have two campuses. Years 6 to 10 are on one, and preschool to year 5 is on the other. They started with G Suite this year, and their BYOD policy began this year. And I've also taken up the reins with the digital technology curriculum at the school. So professional development, teachers and even learning support staff and admin staff, they're looking for things that are accessible, that are relevant to their area of work. Time management is really important. You know, teachers are time poor. We are the worst people for that. And I think if it's something simple and easy that we can use and we feel comfortable with, let's do it. Step-by-step resources and any takeaways that, you know, you're presenting in the classroom or that you think might actually work, you trial it out and you show it to the staff at the next staff meeting. I've actually included in the little blue box down here, the Google how-to sheets that either I have created or I have collaborated, so I should say collated with in one big folder, which I'm happy to share with everybody. It just makes it easier for people who can't watch videos, who like the step-by-step process. I think teaching people to use G Suite, you need to be cognizant of the lower level of abilities, so the lowest common denominator. Catering for people who do struggle with IT, I think you'll actually find that they are able to adapt to it easier when they've got time and assistance to do so. So your school has G Suite. What do you do now with it? You've signed up, you've got all your student and staff emails. What do you do? My policy always has been, whether I'm presenting, training, teaching, if it's not fun, we don't do it. So I like to make things easy by making them fun. And that could mean that we get staff together with teamwork first so that we're in a comfortable position. We've had a laugh, we've joked around, building the tallest thing with marshmallows and spaghetti. Or when I was at GEG APAC this year, we had to build the tallest building with whatever tools we had. So unfortunately, the only photo I had, I actually got a whole body of Jacques the Tweet from GEG Fraser Coast in there, so my apologies there, Jacques. But we all got to work and collaborate. Once we'd found something fun and interesting to do, everyone was relaxed, everyone was ready and keen to learn. And I think that's an important part of doing something that a lot of staff are still hesitant to do because it's a fear factor of things they don't know. So then it comes down to the goldfish polishing. We have the little goldfish on the left-hand side all by themselves. We have two, I would call them the expert pool over here, or integrating pool, whatever you'd like to call it. And the fourth little fish is about to leap into the next one. Taking everything slowly will ensure that all staff come along. But I understand that there are staff who are miles ahead. I'm guilty of that as well. But if they've shown something, they can take it. It's the same as in a classroom. If we have to give students extension and they can run with it, then let them run with it. But again, I find that teachers and LSAs who don't understand really do need that one-on-one small group assistance. Okay, so my tips for doing anything in terms of PD is the following, or sorry, I should say are the following. Meeting times. So you can have a short burst of information shared in a meeting. It could be how to use Google Forms. Now, a couple of presenters have already shared these things with you today, and it's brilliant. Eleni, I know I watched her presentation and she's actually shown you today. Early adapters or adopters, showcase what they're doing. So I've been running some PD sessions at my school, and staff have gotten up and presented what they know. So for example, one of the things I'll be showing is a Hyperdoc. One of our teachers showed that to the staff, and now we're using it across the board in Year 7 SOS. We have Google Forms and using Autocrat to mail merge everything. You know, just getting up and showing little bits of information. It doesn't have to be that. It can be how to get into Google Drive. It really is based on the needs of your staff. Then we have Googlifying one assignment task. Now, for some people, Googlifying could mean putting it on a Google document and sharing it in classroom. Very simple steps for people to give them that confidence in being able to utilize the tools, and then go into the next step, which could be hyperlinking in the documents, or it could be that they attach a Google form to it and they then pull it apart with Google Sheets and do graphs and so on. So it's just really getting people comfortable with what they're doing. You could use a Google form for a check-in or a check-out in a lesson, in a staff meeting, setting, whatever you like. Again, I've used this before. I have a teaching colleague who uses Plickers. So that's another option you could use, and the kids just absolutely love it. Also, creating a QR treasure hunt for students. You can actually do that for staff as a team building exercise. Get them all involved and engaged. Again, if it's fun, people really do want to learn. And when we are teaching, tend to look at play as an educational tool, but as we move through and progress through to Year 11 and 12, we tend to forget that play is just as important in being able to problem solve and showing resilience and so on. Okay, now underneath in that yellow box there, I've got the Google. So if you're interested in becoming certified, or if you want to have a look at the Chromebook option, there's a trainer option up there now for Google Chromebooks. So if you have a school that's just purchased Chromebooks, you could go through that, you know, 2 or 3 teachers and find out how to use the Chromebooks and disseminate the information in a presentation at a PD or in different KLA areas. What I have here is the Hyperdoc. Now the Hyperdoc is a Hyphil, and the other 2 ladies whose names escape me, my apologies, but the site is linked here for you to have a look at. There's an image here of what learners want and a brief breakdown of what a Google Hyperdoc is. What it isn't is just a worksheet. I've given a very brief, it's a very long document, but I just wanted to show you, this is what over here, what I did with my students in poetry at the start of the year. They need to go to complete things. So click here to watch the video so it takes them to YouTube. Go here to complete a response to a video so that it goes to a Google form, and then all the information stays in that Google form, or if I link it to a Google Sheet, then I have the Google Sheet in my drive as well. Click here to increase your vocabulary. Again, that's another Google form. So you can implement a Hyperdoc, even if it's one link. It doesn't have to be every second word has to be a link. It's really important that we start slow, get comfortable with what we're using, and get out of the nerves and then move on to the next stage. Again, if you do have staff who are advanced in using Google, I would recommend that they can go straight into it. But there's a hashtag is mightier than the sword. It's an example document that I've put in here for people to have a look at, and hopefully it'll give you a really good breakdown of what to do. How can you access PD from outside of school? several ways you can do it. So your Google Educator group, one for Canberra. There's quite a few in Australia, Perth, Adelaide, Port Macquarie. Melbourne has 2 in the east and west, and Sydney as well. I think I've got everybody, and obviously Canberra. I've given you the link to your nearest egg, and New Zealand have an amazing EG, whichever way you'd like to pronounce it, headed by Justine Driver, who was presenting earlier, and also Fiona Grant. It's just amazing what they do over there. You can also do the Google Educator Certificate training. So you can get your Cert 1, you can get your Cert 2. You can go on further to do the trainer program or become an innovator. Webinars or YouTube videos. Teach Tech Play is run again by Eleni. Every, I think it's the first Monday of every month, they run a webinar YouTube video, and it's just amazing of different staff or different teachers presenting across KLAs. There was even a PE only one, and a colleague from work presented at that and ended up winning the week, which was fantastic. You've got the Google Educast. That's run by a couple of people across Australia and America. And Chris Betcher is always on that, and he's a fantastic resource as well. You've got Unstuck Learning Designer. That's Chris Hart, who introduced me. That's his little baby. Google how-to videos. Again, if you are more inclined to learn by viewing and actually just getting along with it, they're great. If you are struggling with following the videos, you can use the how-to sheets that I've given you access to already. Think, oh, it's a lot of work, I can't do this, it's really stressful. You can have a look at Kane's Arcade. Now, that's just a video of a little boy who created his own arcade out of just anything he could get his hands on, cardboard, etc. It's a really nice, feel-good video. It's just fantastic. I really do like it. So hopefully you can use that as well. Just give me a sec, sorry. There we go, fixed it. If we go over to the Twitter, Alice Keeler is an amazing resource as well. She has her own website, several books. A really nice lady from the States. Then we've got Matt Miller and Ditch That Textbook. I'm always saying his things. Everyone is talking about how this is fantastic work here. Karen Spencer is another, and she actually was at the ULearn conference in Rotorua, New Zealand this year that I was lucky to go to. And she was the closing speaker, and she was absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. The information, the passion behind this woman. She didn't have any notes. She stood up there and spoke in front of 2,000 people and didn't break a sweat. I was really impressed with her. Then we have the lovely Dana Schuber. Now, Dana lives in Brisbane, and she is a fantastic resource for digital technologies and ICT, as well as Google. If you spell her name, you can find her on Twitter. You can also then have access to her site that she creates. George Kouros, if you know who he is, one would hope. The Innovator's Mindset, his book is just brilliant. And I constantly am reading tweets about him or reading his tweets and really enjoying that, learning in a different context. I know it's only 160 words, but it is still a great way to present information out there. And finally, Professor Peter Adel from the University of Canberra. Lovely man, Indigenous man. He is the Dean of Education, and he is trying to indigenize the internet and trying to raise awareness in Indigenous people having access to the internet and so on. It's amazing, and the work he's doing is phenomenal, and hopefully we'll see him in a few presentations in the next 12 months. Now, one thing I do tend to do is I listen to podcasts. I'm really sad like that. Like every morning I get in the car, even when I'm going to bed, I'm still listening to podcasts. It's just my way of learning, audiobooks, etc. And we've got, what is it, the Google, TER podcast. Now, this is a group of teachers who have come together, and they just present on anything that's relevant in Australian education. So it could be about, they had a bit on the election, it could be about NAPLAN, it could be about the Smarter Stronger Institute. That was one of their more recent presentations. Then you look at Google Educast. Again, Chris Betcher, they have the webinar, but they also have the podcasted version of it, and it's brilliant. The Cult of Pedagogy. I love this podcast. It gives me short little bites that I can use and information that I can take with me from a professional standpoint, but also former teacher understands the stress, the time that teachers, well, what time they don't have, and tries to simplify things. I can say the same for the Truth for Teachers presentation, podcast, sorry. And also TeacherCast podcast. That's a bit more IT techy. So if you are interested in digital technologies, ICT curriculum, to have. Okay, so then we're going to the conferences. Now, if you really start to embrace this and you want to know more, and you will want to know more, you'll start to hunger for it. Coming up in the next 12 months. Now, starting off again, I keep spruiking a learning. I swear I'm trying to get a free ticket, but I'm not, to Teach Tech Play. Now, it said Ivanhoe Grammar again. I went this year and it was amazing. I highly recommend, if you have the time and the money to go, you go to Teach Tech Play. Amazing. We also have our Google for Education summits that go around the globe. We're still waiting on the dates for Canberra and Sydney and so on, but I believe the one for New Zealand has been secured. So you just check on the site. If you click on the image of the Google Summit, you will actually see what it says, where everyone can go. So then we have the EduTech conference. Now, this year it was in Sydney, in Brisbane. Next year it's in Sydney. Again, this is a great resource for teachers. You can offer to present. You can just go and have a look. You can look at all the resources. When I went to ULearn, which is the last one here, there were people, like modern teaching aids were there. Spiro was there. So many different groups were there, and it was brilliant. I have to do a shout out to the Canva guys, because they were fantastic and amazing blokes to talk to, and just stood there and talked to me for as long as I had any questions. But I highly recommend, if you have the option, and particularly for you Kiwis out there, that is a brilliant PD option, and it's in Hamilton next year. So again, I would definitely go onto the call website and register your interest for that one. Okay, now before I finish and take on questions, because I can see there are a few, Alice Keeler, love her so much that I put in a quote from her with a Sylvia Duckworth sketch note. I'm a techie and I'm not a techie is the willingness to click on stuff and see what happens. So again, it all comes down to whether or not you want to learn this. Now, we expect our students to show that they're willing to learn and demonstrate understanding, and I think that we sometimes forget what it's like to be the student in the situation. But if you're willing to give everything a go, it would be fantastic. There's so many things you can learn. You get online, you do things like this, you can get onto Twitter and have conversations with people. It's just an amazing production, and I just cannot rant enough about it. It's just absolutely fantastic. Having your personal learning group or professional learning group around, it's amazing. And if you get onto Twitter, certain days of the week, there will be conversations with people. And I want to say Aussie Ed runs one. There's a few. Include EDU is another one, and so on. So I highly recommend that you get onto Twitter and you follow a few people. Just take your little toe and dip it in the water. Other than that, it's really based on what you are comfortable with. Again, just keep going through it. If you're not too sure of something, then ask. Don't be afraid. Put it in Twitter. Can someone help me with this? Get on Google+. Can someone help me with this? Send an email to people in your area. Email Gegs. Email whoever else, I suppose, we're on here sharing what we know. And you don't have to be alone in this journey of doing professional development and trying to implement G Suite in your school. Okay. So So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a look at a few of the questions. So I've only got 10 minutes left. There was one. Now, Karen Thompson, do you implement the DT curriculum as a standalone in primary school at your school? So at my Peter 10 school, I have started implementing digital technologies curriculum in the Year 5 class, and I've had Year 7 leaders go across with me to work with the Year 5s. Next year it will be implemented across 3 to 5. Our group is on the senior campus, is what we call it, is 6 to 10. So I'll be doing some more work with Year 6 at the start of next year when we rotate through our electives, as digital technologies is currently an elective at the moment. The ICT capabilities, however, are a different thing altogether, and they should be implemented in every KLA. And then I've written the curriculum documents for my school for Year 6 to 10 on digital technologies, and will be assisting the primary school teachers with the 3 to 5 next year. I'm also primary trained, so I have a good understanding of how to transfer that information into an active, working, livable, breathing document. So just go through a few others. Okay. Yes, I do. Tony, I loved You Learn, and let me just say the Kiwis were amazing. The respect to the Maori people was just, I was in tears. I can just say I loved it there in New Zealand. I hope to be back next year at You Learn. Again, if anyone has any concerns about they can't access the how-to sheets, I have given complete access, but if you don't, can you just email me through my anissa.gegcanberra@gmail.com email, and I'll be happy to give you access. So both campuses. I'm just scanning through quite quickly. So who else have we got? As a question about the upcoming dates for summits. As soon as EduTech let us know, which they'll put in through the Google Plus site or even on Twitter, etc., then I will be letting my area know. So Canberra will definitely know. So just keep checking. I'm hoping that they'll be out in January, because usually the Canberra and Sydney summits run in April. And then I think also Melbourne and New Zealand. So hopefully we will have those bits of information. And I cannot stress enough that going to a summit is an amazing opportunity, and going to any tech conference is an amazing opportunity. And I think if you're willing to put yourself out there and just learn and have a play, again, see, play is important to learning, then you'll find you're not as uncomfortable in implementing this in your classroom or in your school if you're a school leader. And for school leaders, I highly recommend that if you have staff that are loving IT or loving Google or loving digital technologies and they want to take on this role, let them. Because when you have that passion, it really can help and assist with the implementation. And I've been training up learning support teachers all year, and they are loving the fact that whilst their kids, you know, their students with learning disabilities, physical disabilities, and so on, are whizzing through everything, they didn't know what they were doing. So having that time to sit down and share with them information, going very slow, of course, because some had never really had an idea what to do, was just amazing. So again, I've got about 5 minutes left, but if there are any further questions, I'm happy to answer them right now. Nicole Callan, I'm very happy to share any and all resources with you and give you a few links for wherever you are. If you'd like to email me, that is not an issue. Thank you, Stephen Citrano. I love GEG APAC. If you need anything, don't hesitate to contact me or any of the other presenters if it's relating to their presentation. And all of these presentations will be up, I think, tomorrow for everyone to view, and I'm assuming by then that all our slides, etc., will be attached as well. So I will make sure that that's done for you. Again, you can have a look at the presentation, go through everything. All my images are hyperlinked as well, so if you want to see where I got those images from, if you want to have a look at the how-to sheets, if you think something's missing, let me know and I'll add it, because everyone has access to this and it's now become a global thing, and I really don't mind. So once again, I'd like to say thank you for coming along in this journey with me. It's not exceptionally easy to do a presentation globally, but it's been an honor to do this with some absolutely amazing, such as Eleni, Chris, who's right here in my little screen, Anthony Speranza. Honestly, it's just been a fantastic journey, and I really hope that everyone has learned something from this today, whether it's my presentation or anybody else's presentation. And again, have fun with it. It's not something to be afraid of. And I hope to see you sometime soon.
Thank you so much, Anissa. I don't know if can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Oh, wonderful. So such a fantastic place, an incredible amount of resources to really get involved in. And the GEG program is such an important program. Get involved with your local GEG, as Anissa said. And thank you, Anissa, for your generosity in sharing all of those resources and links. Absolutely cracking stuff. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, see you guys.